A third of our prison population suffers from some kind of drug or alcohol addiction, and we spend more than $300 million shoving courses and programs in front of them whilst in jail, which are mostly hopeless. A Justice Ministry review found that these programs had a positive impact on just 3% of prisoners. It's an abject failure for 97% of people. What has worked is when we send these prisoners to one of the 3 drug courts in New Zealand. Judges say it transforms their lives. Prisoners get treated, and they're also held to account. They get drug tested, so they can't get away with anything. But they get treated on health grounds. Our next guest is a shining example of what works. James Sturch was a meth addict. He spent his 21st birthday in prison. Nothing worked until he was put before the drug court. He spent his whole 20s in prison. Until then, his life was an endless cycle of drug abuse, rehab, relapse, reoffend, then prison. James is drug-free because he went through the drug court and he remains drug-free today. Firstly, James, g'day, mate. Nice to see you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan.
It feels good, does it?
Yeah, it feels amazing.
So you've been, drug-free 3 years?
So coming up to 3 years now, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you spent all your entire 20s in prison?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I had my 20th in Spain, and then my 21st birthday I was in Mount Eden prison, the old rock, and I don't think I had a birthday out of prison until I was like 32. So.
What went wrong? What happened?
So a bit about my story is, so I grew up in West Auckland with my parents, they're alcoholics. My father, wasn't much of a role model. They didn't set any values or goals in my life. They just showed me that, you have a good time, you drink, you have a bad time, you drink. And, I grew up with that resentment towards my parents, and I never wanted to end up like my father, an alcoholic, and, didn't do well in school, wasn't motivated, fell in with the wrong crowd, and then eventually I fell into addiction for methamphetamine, and, that basically took over my life.
So you are what you're created like, eh? So you're created by 2 parents who went sort of AWOL on you, and that's your life. That sets you up badly, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I was sort of a product of my environment, really. Yeah. And, my sisters moved to the UK, and they seen that my life was going sideways, and they told me to go over there, spend some time with them, and I reconnected with them. It was amazing. And like I said, had my 20th in Spain. My plan was to come back to New Zealand, get back into work, save up a bit of money, and go back and live with them in the UK. But as soon as I came back to New Zealand, I fell back into addiction. And
so you're in prison for 10 years, on and off for 10 years, in and out. So you're doing courses in there, programs, all sorts of rehab stuff. Didn't work?
So every time I went to prison, you soon learn how to manipulate the parole board to tick the boxes to get out. And because you're in such a destructive environment in the prison system, you're not in a therapeutic environment. You're in a very negative, egotistical environment. As soon as you show vulnerability or open up and talk about your feelings or what's going on for you, become a victim, become a target, you can't really open up and heal. So the environment that you're in is just everyone's there to tick a box, to get the parole board, to get to the next best unit. You have to be put into a therapeutic environment to truly heal.
Yeah, you need a health unit, don't you? You need a health approach, which is what you got with the drug court. So when you were sent to the drug court, how did that work?
So I think after my last stint was a 4-year, 8-month stint, I got released into treatment. I went into a rehab out in the community, 4.5 months intense treatment. But one thing I learned that is, rehab will get you clean, but it won't keep you clean. And as soon as I graduated that treatment, there was like, here's a door, you're free to go. And I was out in the community after spending all my 20s in prison. I had no life skills. And so basically I was left on my own. It kept me clean for a little bit. I got a job, started working in the field and in rehabs, and went to uni, got my level 4. But it wasn't long that I relapsed, and as soon as I relapsed, I fell back into that same pattern.
Because those are the only guys that you know. You spent 10 years in prison with these guys. They're your mates, I suppose.
Yeah, well, the men that I met in prison became my so-called brothers, That was my whole existence. They were like the family bond that I've been searching for my whole life, and they made me feel wanted and gave me that sense of connection, but it was a false connection. It was a very antisocial connection.
So when you finally got some decent treatment, how did that work through the drug courts?
So what happened is I was lucky enough to enter the drug court, because when I relapsed, I ended up back in prison, and it was my lawyer who put in an application to the drug court, and he believed in me enough, and he fought for me to get into the drug court. once I entered into the drug court, they put me back into a residential environment. But once I graduated that treatment, they did another wraparound support. Like I did so many intensive programs.
And they
through
kept drug
the
testing
court.
you through this too, didn't they?
Yeah, you're continuously drug tested. You got to do meetings. I did therapy, one-on-one counselling, men in relationships, restorative justice with my victims also. So
Yes.
the drug court set that up. So I had to sit down with my victims and explain to them what I was going through.
How was that for you?
You know, it was a lot of anxiety. I was nervous, but it was less about me and more about them. You know, I wanted to make sure that they knew that, you know, I was an addict and what I did was wrong, and I was truly sorry for what I did.
But the drug court, what it did was it set you up in a process, a health process. It didn't treat you as a criminal. It treated you as someone who was sick and needed help.
Yeah, the first time I entered the drug court was the first time that the judge had actually looked at me and spoke to me like a human and said to me, you know what, James, we believe you can do this. And they just made me feel that I could do it, you know. They made me feel like I was somebody instead of just another number.
And since then you've been 3 years clean.
Yeah, since then I've been 3 years clean and doing amazing. Got my life back, closed all my back doors. That was the number one key to that world and all my old associates.
Because it's who you hang out with, isn't it? I mean, you can judge someone by who they hang out with, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you've closed the door on that. We've only got 3 drug courts.
Yeah.
Auckland and Hamilton. Do we need more?
I reckon that they definitely need a drug court in every district because it's the success that I've seen come in the drug courts is amazing. And they don't only just work with the addict, but they also work with the addict's whānau. And when you walk into a graduation at the end of someone's journey through the drug court, it's an amazing experience. The family are in tears and how much they're so grateful for the court, how they've given them back their family member.
And so you work in that environment now? That's what you do?
Yeah, I graduated the drug court and now I work in the drug court for Odyssey and I walk alongside our whai ora in the court on their own journeys through the drug court. Yeah.
That's so good, isn't it?
That's pretty powerful.
I mean, I can see it in your face. You're smiling and you're happy and you belong somewhere, you know? You belong and you're doing good. When you look back at the courses that you did in prison compared to the course that you did through the drug court, they're chalk and cheese, aren't they? They're miles apart, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the courses that they have in prison are pretty simple, and like I said, they don't really do anything. They're there to tick a box to say, you know what, when they say there's a debate around like when the addict offends, put him in prison and then rehabilitate him, but you can't get rehabilitated in such a destructive environment.
Do you see anyone get rehabilitated in prison though? They talk about it, but you very rarely see results.
I've never met anyone that's gone to prison, did a rehab, and then stayed in that environment and come out and gone and said it's changed my life, you know, because you're stuck in that environment.
What if there was no drug court for you? Where would you be?
So if I know for a fact that I'd still be in prison today. If I didn't enter the drug court, because the drug court really did save my life. I'll either be in prison for the rest of my life or I'd rather be dead because I'm one of those addicts that once I pick up meth, I cannot stop until I'm in prayer.
Well, what is it? How does it drive you?
So the meth just destroys me. I can't stop once I pick up, you know, and
Really?
I turn into a very antisocial, destructive person, destroying everything around me, destroying relationships. You know, the path that it took me down was a very dark path. Yeah.
But you own it though. What I really rate about you, what I think is fantastic about you, is that you own your shit.
Yeah.
You've dealt with it.
Yeah.
You've come out the other side. Tell me about life now. Tell me about you got missus and kids.
Yeah. So I've got a beautiful life now. I've got a partner and we've got a beautiful baby girl. Amazing. You know, I healed all the relationships through my family by going through the drug court. I've got a good career. I'm honestly in the best position of my life that I could possibly be right now. It's
so great to hear someone so positive, you know, about something. Let's just spread these things out. I mean, we've got courts all around New Zealand. Yeah. We haven't got the facilities. I reckon this is what's holding the government back. We don't have the beds. Yeah. And the hospital beds and the facilities and the psychotherapists and all the people that we need, you know, because it costs money, right?
Yeah, well, it costs money, but I think it will cost the community even more just to lock these people up forever, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
and not fix them up. How bad is the meth issue now?
So I think the meth issue is very destructive in Auckland and in New Zealand. I think it's easier to get a bag of meth than it was to get a bag of weed these days, you know?
I think it was like that 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
And meth doesn't discriminate if you live in Parnell, if you live in Otara or West Auckland, you know, it attacks everyone on every level, you know.
And it's how the gangs make their money, right?
No, 100%.
That's how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. You must feel good. What are you up to today?
So after this, I'm heading into work. I've got court today to work in the court, Auckland court.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're a little bit nervous about coming in here, but how's the experience? All good?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate your time as well. And go well. Keep in touch and stay on the straight and narrow. I think no worries for you.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan.
Good on you, mate. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.